Hi YouTube. Today I wanted to talk about the fall of the House of Usher. I just finished watching this series. Actually, I finished the whole thing in about 3-4 days, I think, and it was very captivating, very interesting. It's a very easy watch, and there's definitely a lot to love about this show. For one, the acting is on point.
You're a good audience.
And the show is based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe, and they find a very seamless way of integrating his short stories into one show without making it feel forced, and that was very well done.
I'm gonna start by discussing some of the things that I liked and loved about the show.
And then I want to get into some of the small nitpicks that I had maybe with it and answer one of the major questions of the show, which is who Verna was. So this is a spoiler warning right now because I'm really going to be talking about pretty much anything that happened in the whole series. And I want to make it clear that although I'm going to be talking about a few things that maybe didn't make that much sense or could have been done better, overall the show was great and definitely it's worth a watch.
I watched it! Keep going, Pinocchio!
So I'm not trying to diminish the work or say it's bad or throw it out or anything like that. You know, for me, I'm the kind of person that will watch one episode a day. So when I'm watching an 8-parter in 3 days and maybe 4, that means I really enjoyed it. One character I absolutely loved about the show was Mark Hamill. To be honest, it was kind of trippy. It was like almost seeing your teacher when she's not in class and being like,
wow, she's a real person and she does other things.
and it's the same thing with Mark Hamill. I haven't seen him in a lot of other stuff. So seeing the role that he was playing in this show was actually fun. I just loved that character that he pulled off. Carla Gugino's character was also very well played. She had to play so many different roles and portraying them each very differently. Mary McDonald's Madeline was such an impressive character. She portrayed it with such poise. She had so much control. Everything she did was with so much purpose.
I want new terms, and I shall have new terms, or have you forgotten what I am?
There she is. There's my Cleopatra.
I would consider this show to be much more of a suspense than it is horror. Although don't get me wrong, if you like guts and gore and blood, then it has a lot of that. You definitely have an uneasy feeling the entire time you're watching it. You can also tell there was a lot of creativity put into the way that the characters meet their end. And although you know from pretty much the first episode that they're all gonna die, they still find a way to keep you intrigued and wanting to know how it happened. One of my favorite monologues in the whole show is when August asked Roderick what he would do if he was given lemons.
When life hands you lemons,
Make lemonade.
And he goes on that long rant about how he would turn lemons into an empire. With all that being said, here's my issues with the show. The first episode or two, you get everything laid out for you. You understand what the story is going to be about and how things are going to be unfolding. Then you don't get any answers until the last couple of episodes. So everything in the middle is just the same story repeating itself.
Of course, it's being done in different ways with different characters, and it's still interesting, don't get me wrong.
But you don't learn anything new about the overall story arc. And I think it would have worked a lot better if they gave us small parts to the mystery as we move through the episodes. So each episode has a little nugget that you keep putting together and it gives you a little bit more of the picture. There's 2 stories going on. One where we are finding out how Roderick and Madeline took over Fortunato. There's another story where how all the kids are dying. But there's the bigger story of why they're all dying. And with that, that's where Verna comes in. And you don't really learn anything about why, what's motivating her, where she came from, what it's all about. And this is where I also have a problem because until the end, you're thinking that the reason why they're being targeted is because they're all evil people or they're all doing evil things. But you come to learn at the end that it has nothing to do about what kind of people they are. It only mattered that Roderick and Madeline made a deal with Verna at the very beginning And regardless of what kind of people they are, they were gonna die, which is proven by Verna taking Lenore's life. I want to get into who Verna is a little bit later on, but I want to discuss now that a lot of people have been saying how Verna has a good heart and she was going after evil people in a cruel way, and she was very upset when she had to take Lenore's life.
But I don't agree with that sentiment because she doomed that entire generation and all his progeny.
Because of the sin of the father and aunt. And as a principle, I believe that each person should be judged by their own actions. And of course, a lot of them were very evil people and maybe deserved it, but I don't think they were allowed to prove that themselves. And because we never find out what the motivation is for Verna, we can't even judge if she had to take Lenore's life, if it was her call, if she could have changed it in some way. All we know is that there was a good girl that believed in doing good, and Verna doomed her because of something that had nothing to do with her.
Not right. It's not right.
So Verna's character can save it with that fake remorse. The one thing that really bothered me was, why did Roderick and Madeline take the deal in the first place? They had just finished executing a plan and it looked like they were on the way to getting away with it, and they had lined everything up so one of them would become CEO or COO, or at least have very high positions in the company and be swimming in money.
Not on the fast track, Rod. You're not on the ladder, okay? You're there. I told the board, I told the shareholders, you are the best thing that has ever happened to this company.
They didn't really need Verna or her deal.
My goddamn hero. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Roderick Usher, the future of Fortunato!
The only argument I could think of is maybe they thought they were gonna get caught, but even that wasn't made clear, and the way that their plan unfolded, it appeared that they had gotten away with it because it was airtight. So why even bother taking the deal? When it was Mark Hamill's character, Pym, that got offered the deal, she made it clear if he doesn't take it, he's gonna get caught and go to jail. That was never done with Roderick and Madeline. I believe that they only took that deal because of surety. It was just so they got what they wanted 100% without any risk. But I think that if they just let their plan unfold, they would have got there anyway without owing Verna anything.
And to owe the devil your soul!
So I would love to hear from anybody that thinks differently or has a better explanation. There is a few other smaller things that I want to mention. Not as big as that one, but one of them is, where was Madeline while Roderick was getting married and having kids? Because it seems like when the show started is when they meet for the first time.
So was she gone for like, I don't know how old his kids were, 5-6 years, and all of a sudden she showed up.
Madeline is irrelevant.
And I think some of the characters were a little bit shallow. Maybe they could have done a better job of showing their motivations or why they are who they are in a more meaningful way. The only thing that really differentiated them was their sexual fetishes.
Oh, I feel so
Naughty.
And although I do like shows that have talking and have a slow burn, I could imagine a lot of people, and I have heard that a lot of people find there was a lot of talking and the show did drag a little bit. And again, I would love to hear from anybody if they thought that the show dragged on and it too much talking, or if the pacing was great and you loved the way it unfolded. The last couple of things I want to mention is, one, when Roderick is talking to Auguste, he really comes off as a normal person. He's talking normally, he's acting normally.
Even sometimes very gentle and sweet, like he's trying to make you feel sorry for him.
But I think the character that he's supposed to portray should have had more arrogance, more cockiness, more entitledness, and it didn't come off that way. It almost comes off like somebody else did what he's being accused of doing and he's just been put in that position. Did anybody else feel that? Because I kept thinking, like, this guy seems like a good person. This is not somebody that could do what he's being accused or what he's supposed to have done. And I think this is something I wish would have been showed a little bit more. The evilness of Roderick and Madeline. Even when they got rid of their boss, Rufus, they portray it in a way like he had it coming and he was an evil person too, which he was. So I would have wanted to see them actually acting like evil people. And finally, in the first episode, one of the coolest parts of the entire show is when their mother dies and they bury her and she breaks out of her casket and comes back. And I really wanted that to have a little bit more meaning than just that you could say, okay, this is something that shaped them. And I wanted it to have more of an impact.
It's all connected, shut up.
With the Verna storyline. Now when it comes to Verna and who she is,
I mean, they don't have to be completely explicit.
but they could have done a little bit better job of trying to hint or allude to who she is. The only thing that I got from the show is that when Arthur Pym went on his trip, the character that Mark Hamill plays, he goes on his trip when he was young and he goes around the world and ends up in the North Pole, and he comes by an island called Ultima Thule.
And that he found an island at the top of the world that he called Ultima Thule. And that it was the realm of beings who lived beneath us out of time and out of space.
Cute.
And I think that's the entity that Verna's playing.
But still, what is the entity? What is the purpose of those beings?
Because what does she get out of it? At least I wanted to know that, or at least a hint at that, because she doesn't want their soul. She just basically said,
If this is what you want,
then your progeny stops with you. So what does she get out of it? Like, does she only go to evil people and offer them that because she knows what they're gonna end up doing? What if they were good people and they were only doing good? Does it not matter? She wants their progeny to end no matter what. I've heard theories that she could be Mother Earth. But at the same time, why would it have to be that all the children have to die then?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Why wouldn't it be targeted to more specifically bad people, for instance? Or at least they can have a choice or an option to redeem themselves when they're not the ones that made the deal. It's mentioned in the show that ravens are minions of the devil, and I think that's what it is, in a sense that the same way jinns or genies grant wishes, you know, it's the same idea. She grants wishes almost, quote unquote, but anytime you make a deal with the devil, you're gonna end up getting burned. And I think that's who she really is, but the way the show wants us to take it is that there's goodness in her, but I don't buy that.
Only one shame on me.
So imagine half the kids were good, and they showed all the kids doing really good stuff and charities and whatever, and then they still end up dying. It's like 4 or 5 of them. You know, would you still think of her the same? Because I think most people would be like,
wait a second, she's killing way too many good people here.
what if there were a lot of babies involved? What if they all had kids?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Right? I mean, a family that size, 6 kids, and if 6 of them have 2-3 kids each, there's between 10 and 18 children and babies between like 1 year and 7-8 years old, and she's gonna kill all of them one time. Are we still gonna look at her as, hey, look, oh, she has compassion and she felt bad for killing Lenore? I don't think she gets that pass anymore, right? So she's some sort of evil force at the end of the day. Anyways, that's what I think. You tell me if you think otherwise. You know, I'm open to hearing what others think and if there's a better understanding or explanation of it. But overall, again, like I said, you know, please understand, I'm not trying to say that the show is bad. I loved it.
so I hope you enjoy it as well.
But I like pointing these things out and, you know, just noticing that maybe there's something here, something there that could have been a little bit tighter, a little bit better. Please stay tuned because I have a very, very, very cool video that's coming out, and I've been working for a long time on it, and it's gonna be a little bit longer than usual, but you know, it's something that I've been wanting to put out for a long time. So I hope that you stay tuned, you subscribe so you don't miss it, and don't forget to like the video as well, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye. Hey YouTube, I just wanted to add that since I finished recording the video about the fall of the House of Usher, and I've been working on editing the video for quite a while actually, but I started watching Midnight Mass and I'm absolutely loving it. But if there's a show that is actually a slow burn, this is a show. It actually makes the fall of the House of Usher look like a fast-paced, exciting, non-stop, like action movie. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in. I've been watching Midnight Mass. I'm enjoying it, but that is a true slow burn show. Okay, bye.